Hey y'all, welcome back. This is Talk Your Shit with Deja, where we drop the eye because not only can I talk my shit, but I want you to talk your shit too. Hey lovelies, not hey lovelies. How are y'all? I hope y'all are doing great because I'm doing great. So I hope y'all are doing great. And if you're not doing great, I hope my greatness passes through to you so that you can feel great after hearing my voice. Yay! But nah, for real, I hope you all are doing lovely on this beautiful day whenever you're catching it. I hope it's Wednesday at 7, but sometimes we can't win. We can't win them all. So I'll take it whenever you're checking in, tuning in. But yes, y'all. So last week I talked about this pain. I talked about pain. I was going to say discipline, even though discipline is pain. We all know she's not my best friend, but we talked about pain, the good pain and the bad pain, and choose ye this pain whom you will serve. Yes, you got to choose if you want to, inflict the bad pain onto yourself, where you keep going through the same shit and don't know why, and you keep doing it and doing it and doing it well, or you start implementing good pain onto yourself where although it may be like a short period of time that you're going through something, constantly inflicting that upon yourself, it will eventually become a habit, and then it won't be painful, but something lasting, something beneficial. So yeah, that was what we talked about last week. But this week, y'all, to continue with this season of personal development and self growth, I want to talk to y'all about the real reason why I keep starting and stopping the podcast. I probably talked about it a little bit in the episode back, like the little brief little section that I gave y'all, but let's really talk about what drives like the long pause of me not doing an episode, because I didn't realize it was that until, well, no, I knew it was that, but you sometimes don't want to, admit stuff to yourself. So I was having a hard time coming to grips with that it was that. But I want to be honest with myself and be real with myself. So what I'm referring to, if you don't know, because I haven't said it, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm talking about perfectionism, y'all. Like, I didn't even think that I was a perfectionist in the slightest. I didn't think that that was something that applied to me until I started this journey. Like, this content creation journey will really let you know how much we be in our own head about certain things, and it will be to the point where you will just stop yourself from starting altogether. And so I just want to talk about how that has played into this journey, as well as other parts of my life, because I'm pretty sure it's not just this podcast situation, but this is where I've noticed it come up into my space, like more prevalent than anything else, is with creating episodes or coming up with different things to talk about and stuff like that. And it's so hard because I do the podcast by myself, which anybody that carries a podcast by themselves, like, you are great. You are great, because I find it to be the hardest thing in the world, because it's only my perspective. And I'm so limited to the things that I've done in my life that I honestly don't really have so much to talk about to where I can make this thing stretch to heaven only knows how many episodes. Like, it's only just been me, and in my 27 years of living, I haven't did the most. So trying to find something to talk about and not be repetitive and still be interesting and stuff like that, like, that has really driven a lot of the reason why I end up stopping and pausing and just never starting back. So, like, rewind it, take a step back. I do want to go over like what perfectionism, there we go, what perfectionism is, because a lot of people may experience it and they don't realize that's what's kind of keeping them stuck or not starting, or whatever the case may be, when it comes to career life, relationship life, uh family stuff, like you just, at all aspects of your life, perfectionism could be what is driving you to not start or to continue, because you're so thinking about it so much. It got to be this way, it got to be this way, I'm trying to make sure it's this way, and you get in your own way and you don't even start. But let's go to the definition, because y'all know I love me a good definition. So online it says that perfectionism, I don't know. Am I making up my own word? Perfectionism? That sound like a word. Is it perfectionism? Perfectionism? Where am I getting this L from, y'all? I don't know. But it says perfectionism is a personality trait that involves setting unrealistic goals and placing excessive demands on oneself. It can cause people to feel bad about themselves and can lead to anxiety, depression, and impaired performance. So, how this has shown up, and I kind of just like briefly explained it, but like, y'all, whenever I'm saying whenever, like I've been doing this for forever, but from the first time that I started the podcast, took a break, and then started again and took another break. Granted, was it other things that was going on in the process of me stopping and starting? Yes. But like one of the main things that was like weighing on me is topics, and again, not being repetitive, because in my 27 years I haven't been through the most, and I do my best to not speak on topics like, I don't want to be the person that's known for talking on everybody else. Like, that's just not my thing. I don't see the benefits in doing that. If I can find a way, kind of like in my Russell versus Future, that episode, I didn't necessarily talk about them, but more so like how they related to an attachment style. Like, I want to be the person that I can pull out the main idea, but not speak on the people, because I don't know these people. I don't know their day to day. I don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. Like, yeah, we can look at celebrities, we can look at stuff on social media, and we can come up with our own guess of what's going on. But because we're not on the other side of that screen with them, we don't have the totality of the picture. So for me, I just don't feel comfortable speaking on that. But could that have made me so much content? Probably. There's something new going on in the social media world every day with celebrities, content creators, streamers, whatever. Pick your poison. There's always something going on. But all we're getting is the bigger picture. We don't get the minute details that would make this person do this and this person do that. So for me, I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. And because that was the case, that cut down a lot of, you know, topics for me to talk about. On top of just like, I haven't been through the most stuff. Now, granted, I've been through some things, and there's some things that I can talk about, and there's some things I still haven't even talked about, but I haven't been through a lot. I'm only in the first quarter of life, so to speak. Like, I'm still experiencing things. So, like, with all of these different things that come to mind, like, outside of having to move out here with my mom because I'm back at home, like, it's just thinking about that. Like, yo, I had 33, 4 episodes, 33, 4, somewhere in there. I had that many episodes. Like, that's a lot of topics. Like, that was a lot of topics. And that stuff was kind of just scratching the surface of me learning different things about myself. Like, majority of that was me going through websites and correlating the information on there to stuff I had experienced or was experiencing. And like, it got to a point where like, I felt like, what else could I really talk about? I mean, now, and I even feel like now some of the things I say are repetitive, but in if you haven't seen the old episodes, I guess it's not really repetitive. You'll be hearing it for the first time, but it's so hard to really think of fresh new ideas when you're just one person. And I've had the thought about including other people, but then that becomes a barrier because you have to find somebody who truly wants to do this. I was trying to include my family, but that's not their thing. Nobody has talked about wanting to do a podcast and talking about this stuff and everything like that. So trying to incorporate them into it has been hard. Like, it was a blessing that my little brother came on here, but that was just him. If I did more stuff with him, I would have to figure out more topics, different things like that. Like, I still wouldn't even know how to keep it fresh with just him. Like, I wanted it to be like how you see everybody else's with different guests and all this other stuff. But instead of it being celebrity guests, because I don't know them, it would be the people around me. It's just like, you put the request out there, you let people know that you want to have them on the podcast, nobody ever says nothing, then you just be like, okay, whatever, I'll stick to just doing it myself already because I don't like rejection. So you tell me no once, hey, I'll figure the fuck out by myself. Like, all you gotta do is tell me no once for me to be like, never mind, on an idea. And so it's just like all the little pieces, trying to fit them together into this puzzle has like literally encouraged me to stop and start and stop and start and stop and start. And I don't want to keep doing that. So that's like this go around, I'm doing to where when I do have to pause, it's on purpose and not necessarily because I'm overthinking something and this is not working out and da 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 da. Like, it'll be on purpose, the pause. It'll be consistent, the pause, because I will pause in between each season for a specific amount of time and stick with that. And then it'll consistently be 10 episodes where I go a strong 10 weeks, give you some episodes, and put it out. So, like, that was like one part of the barrier, is just that. And then the next thing is like figuring out what is popular. I feel like most people, of course, gonna gravitate towards the people that have the known people. I'm like, and I probably have like short sighted myself because I haven't really been doing the research, but I have to figure out like what's popular amongst the people that are not known, so to speak. So, like, they're not a celebrity, but their podcast is popping. They're doing it by themselves, but again, their podcast is popping. Because right now, the stuff I consume are, they usually always have like celebrity or well-known content creators or whatever on there, and so there's already a big following, so of course they're going to pull in a lot of views and everything like that. It's hard because I didn't see them from the beginning of their journey either. I jumped in when it was like the middle of their journey where they were on the rise. So it's just like that. And again, having people on there with multiple different point of views, because I think that is a key aspect to everything, is having different point of views for different people to be able to latch on it. I wanted to be able to provide a different perspective on the podcast so that when this type of person tuned in, they could relate to that person versus me, because I know everybody's not going to have my thought process. Everybody's not going to think like me. Everybody's not going to see things the way that I see things. But at least if I could have people come on, now I have this person that can relate to that person. So you're looking at the episode or listening, tuning into the episode for this person versus you tune in for this person because this person said something different, but it was funny. And like, it brings elements of character and different layers to the show that I wish that I could have. And so that was something that was discouraging too, because I didn't maintain having people come on. Like, my little brother came on, which is cool. So if anybody checked in that was high school age and could relate to what he was saying and stuff like that, that was cool. But, you know, to have other people come on and give a different perspective too would have been ideal. But, you know, sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. And the biggest thing that I've learned from looking at everybody on social media and seeing people talk about it is like the people that are the closest to you may be the people that support you the less, which is not even like I don't think they do it in a hating manner or whatever the case may be. It's just realistic. Like, we all have different mindsets. So I'm not going to expect for the people in my family who you never really hear talk about this stuff, say they want to do a podcast, say they want to talk about the stuff that I'm talking about. It just, it's the reality of it. So there's so many different things that played a part into like me stopping and starting, that I just don't want those to be barriers anymore. Like, I do want to figure out how to add other elements, but I don't want that to be what discourages me from keep going. Like, I genuinely want to get to my 100 episodes, and that's the goal with my seasons and everything. Is I want to get to my 100 episodes, y'all. Like, that's, I think that would be cool. Like, just say that I got 100 episodes that people can go back and binge. Like, I love that I'm binge watchable, and I say this all the time. If you go start back at number one, episode number one, but I always say, like, I love that I'm binge watchable, considering that I binge watch everything. I go through and watch everything and in one sitting. I love doing that. And now I've created a space or content or something to listen to where you can do the exact same thing. Like, if you never get tired of hearing Deja's voice, you get to listen to me right now for, I think this is episode 50 for 50 episodes, y'all. I'm halfway through. Like, that is insane. Or is this 49? Don't let me lie. I'm somewhere close. I know I'm somewhere close. It's either 49 or 50. But it's like I'm like so close to halfway to my 100 mark. I just think it's so fire that I push through, you know? But like, that really was a big thing for me, is the structure of the podcast on top of like the recording thing. Like, yeah, I can use my phone, but then I see people have different angles and all this other stuff. Like, there's so many different elements that people come into this podcast space with, that it does kind of discourage you, because you're not coming in with so much and so much money and so much notoriety, or whatever you want to say, like the popularity. Now, granted, could I get more views than I'm getting? Possibly, because when I tell y'all, I don't promote this unless we're having a conversation about mental health and this, like, my podcast comes out. I don't promote this. Like, I genuinely feel like the people that find out about my podcast is people that's supposed to find out about my podcast. But now, can I promote myself? Yeah, but I also think I'm still working through a space of being confident enough for people to really know me, because in the midst of doing these podcasts, you kind of get to really know people, unless they're putting on a character. And I'm a character, but I ain't putting on no character. Like, I'm a whole different person. You never know what you're gonna get on these episodes, but none of this is fake. By no means am I like putting on a facade or anything like that. And so there's still a level of vulnerability in letting people know that I have a podcast that pushes me away from doing it. Like, I would love to scream it from the mountaintops that I do and let whomever needs to come, but then it's just like, then comes the judgment. I think it's cool, something cool about just having a small little audience of people that genuinely want to tune in, that you don't get the judgment, the criticism, and everything that you do when everything becomes so much more. And not to say I can't handle it, because I think that I would do very well with handling it. It's just, I don't know. I like the attention. I like for the spotlight to be on me, but it's been a while since a whole bunch of eyes have been on me. Like, just me, where I'm up there doing it by myself, whatever. It's been a while, and so I don't scream to the mountaintops that I have a podcast. People slowly find out about it, and if they check it out, they check it out. If they don't, they don't. That's fine with me. I think that the moment I start running my mouth about it, I'll start attracting stuff, and then the views will go up and stuff like that. Because that was another thing too, is I noticed like a lot of people create their episodes and everything off of, the stuff people send in or the comments that people leave and stuff like that. And I would love to have that part of the podcast where I ask my shit talkers what they would like for me to speak on or give advice or whatever the case may be. But it's slowly building, and when I say slowly, the speed of a turtle, it is slowly building that forces me to come up with more topics myself too. And so, like, I am getting in my way, and I'm working so hard to not get in my way. But it's like, so it's a lot that goes into that. And granted, do I need to set up a therapy session with somebody so I can figure out why I'm getting in my own way? I don't know. Do I maybe already know why I'm getting in my own way? Maybe because I just said a whole bunch of stuff, and that could be it. Maybe yeah, that I'm scared of being known and seen, and then it's like if it's word of mouth, it the people get to see me, then they get to go on and watch. So if I'm telling the people around me to watch, then now I don't it's so much that go with it, and you just overthink, and so then you don't, and then that impedes your progress. Like, perfectionism. I really didn't know that was my thing until this process. On top of the goddamn health journey that I'm on too, that's a whole nother beast in and of itself, or trying not to be perfectional at it, or a perfectionist in it, because you're trying to make sure that you're eating the right thing, you're doing this at the right time, you're working out, you're drinking the water, you're doing like, and you just be like, it's so much to do. When it all comes together, like, it's so much to do, and it's sometimes like really hard. I'm not going to say really hard, let's not put that on there. It's sometimes a process to learn how to slow everything down and just be like, okay, what can I start with? Because that's like really the biggest thing that's going to help you through this journey of perfectionism is, what can I start with? What can I work on? And once I'm consistently doing that, what can I add to this? Okay, I know that I'm going to walk once a week at least. Let me do that for a good month and then go from there. Like, that day one compared to when you get all the way down the road seems so far away, because like, well, seems so far away from your goals, because like sometimes you have to start off with the basic, like the most basic thing you can start out with. And it's unfortunate because some of those basic things aren't going to breed you results, which will then cause you to want to stop. But I just seen a clip where the guy was just like, and I think one of the people I follow on Instagram, he liked it because it's just that new feature on Instagram where you can see the people you're following like their stuff, if that made sense. But the people you follow, you can see what they liked. This guy was like, a Chinese bamboo tree or something like that takes 5 years to blossom or grow. Before you even see anything, it takes 5 years, and you have to consistently water it, make sure it has proper sunlight, and all this other stuff. You have to consistently tend to it for 5 years before you can see anything. That is like so true in like real life, and it's disheartening sometimes that you may have to wait that long before you can see some real progress, because it's just like, damn, am I doing all this for nothing? Like at some point, you get to a place where you're like, damn, am I doing all this for nothing? When in reality, no, it's not for nothing. If you stay the course, you do what you're supposed to do, and everything, like it'll blossom, like you'll get to bear the fruit that you have planted. But like, patience. And I think did I have an episode about patience? I don't even know, but I know I ain't got none. And I'm working on having patience, and I'm working on, staying the course. And that's what, like, this year, my words of this year is discipline and consistency, because staying the course is the only way you will see any type of result. Because if you leave off the path, you'll never see what you could have gotten to if you just stayed on it, or you're going to have to start back over, and then it takes even longer for it to get there. And so, like, he was just like, most people in that 5 years that you're waiting for the bamboo tree, you'll think it's never gonna, like, if you didn't know that it was supposed to blossom or whatever in 5 years, you'll want to dig up the seed, and then you may have to plant it somewhere else. Now the whole 5 years starts back over. And it's like, that's real shit, y'all. Like, if you start, you stop, then have to start back over, that pushes it out, like, to where the time frame now, instead of just being 5 years, now maybe it's 6 years or 7 years or 8 years. Like, the only thing coming to mind when it comes to that is the damn GRE. Like, and I'm so tired to talk about this GRE. I don't even know why I'm still giving it light, because of that test. But like, real shit, I kept starting studying for it, and I would stop. Then I would miss the application process. And then here comes the next year where I'm like, this year I'm going to apply and I'm going to study. And I would start the studying process again. And then I would fall off. And then I missed that application year. Here comes the next year. Okay, I would start it again. And then I would miss the application process again because I stopped it again. Now here comes 2020. Well, no, that, yeah, whenever the hell, the year before last. Then I got in my mind, oh, well, let's just apply to the schools that don't have the GRE and see how that works out, knowing damn well I needed the GRE because my damn GPA was shot to shit, because it was shot to shit by the time I got out of the undergrad. So it's like, I know I needed the test, but then I'm like, okay, let's try to take the easy way out of it. Because then you try to take the easy way out of shit to cut corners, so you ain't got to take the whole long ass path. That didn't work either. Because all the schools that I applied for that didn't necessarily need the GRE, I didn't get into them, because one of them was University of Georgia. No, not University of Georgia, Georgia State University. GPA was too low. So as soon as I went to submit, that shit said, oh, your GPA is too low. You can't even do that. FSU, my alma mater. I done been there before. They waived their damn GRE to 2026. Applied there. Oh, no, you can't get in. Where else did I apply? University of Georgia. I thought I was gonna be able to do the application, bypass the goddamn GRE. Them motherfuckers was like, oh baby, we're still waiting on all your materials. You thought you was gonna be able to go, like, no, we're still waiting on all your materials. When we get the GRE in, then we'll consider you. So it's just like, I kept trying to bypass, not do, ignore, and that just went to shit. And so, like, I finally, in 2024, and mind you, y'all, I graduated undergrad 2020. I was supposed to be applying 2020 for, well, no, not 2020. I'm lying. I wouldn't have been applying. But I was supposed to apply for 2021, because as soon as I got home, I started working for a crisis center. So I was supposed to be applying for somewhere in 2021. Think I did that? No. And then 2022, think I did that? No. 2023 was when I tried to skip out on taking the GRE because I just was not studying. Think that worked out? Just told y'all. No. 2024 finally comes, and then I still barely like put enough attention and effort into studying and everything. Now, granted, I took the test. So one step at a time. One step at a time. There's no need to rush. I took the test, but did I do as well as I would have liked? No. So it's just like you plant the seed, stay the course. You stay the course, you get the fruit that you intended to bear. You plant the seed and you keep digging it up and restarting and digging it up and restarting. All you're doing is pushing back time. And perfectionism will literally have you picking up your fucking seed every time you think that something's not going wrong so you could replant it somewhere else where you think maybe the sunlight is more prevalent on this side, or maybe you think it'll get more water over here, or maybe I can tend to it more if it's closer to me. Like, plant the shit, water it, tend to it, leave it, and keep doing that, showing up and showing up for yourself so that you can see what comes out of the consistency, what comes out of showing up for yourself, what comes out of, you know, doing things day by day by day, taking one step in front of the other, taking one step in front of, like, keep going. And then the one thing I do love about myself that I haven't did was completely gave up. Like, that's the one thing I love about myself, because I could have easily gave up, just accepted the reality that I have, that shit just gonna be shot to shit. Like, I could have accepted the hard pain. What is it? The destructive pain. Look at you learn new words now. You gotta use them and stuff. But I could have easily accepted that. Okay, I'm never going back to school. I'm never gonna get my health on track. Like, I could easily accept this stuff. But like, I'm never going to start back my podcast, but it's not in me to like quit. Now, will I take a pause? Will I take a beat? Will I go on a break, a hiatus? Maybe. But to completely quit, throw in the towel and say, this ain't happening, like, that's not a me thing. Like, I keep going. I keep showing up, regardless of how hard it is. I'm going to figure it out. And it may take me a while to figure it out, but I'm going to figure it out. And sometimes just the resiliency of that alone is more than enough to overcome the perfectionism. It's the fact that you're never going to give up. Will you maybe dig up that seed a couple times? You may dig up the seed a couple of times, but at some point you're gonna be like, you know what? Let me leave this seed the fuck alone. Like, let me leave it alone, so I can see what comes out of just doing what they told me to do, which is water this thing, make sure it gets sunlight, and let me just see what comes out of it if I just leave it alone. And when you do get to see the beauty of what just leaving it alone does, like, that's amazing. Like, that's submission, y'all. Which we all, like, I remember, like, and it's funny that that's not a trigger word online anymore, or is it? I don't know. But like, that's real submission, where you know what you need to do and how to do it, and the moment where you start fighting against it and you just do it, that's submission. That is true submission. And I don't think that should be a problem, but I understand why it's a problem for a lot of I understand why it's a problem for a lot of people. Like, to stop fighting, like, we grow up learning how to fight. We fight everything. We gotta fight our parents sometimes, our siblings sometimes, people at school, people in when you grow up, like people in your job. Like, we grow up fighting. So to put your fist down and to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay the course. Like, why am I fighting this? Like, let me just do what I know I'm supposed to do and stay the course and see what comes out of it. Like, that's so hard to do. And so developing that skill of Stay in the court as long as it's something healthy. Now, don't submit to nothing crazy. Submit to the productive pain, y'all, not the destructive pain. Submit to the good stuff, because once you do, the fruit on the other side is gonna be so juicy and ripe, and it's just gonna be like, dang, I'm glad that I waited for this. I'm glad that I nurtured it. I'm glad that I cared for it. I'm glad that I tended to it. I'm glad that I showed up and really did what I was supposed to do so I could get to this. Like a pineapple, if I'm not mistaken, a pineapple tree. Now, don't quote me. I don't know how long it take, but it take a long time for a pineapple to bear fruit. Like the pineapple plant to bear fruit. But that's some of the best fruit, some of the best fruit you can eat when it finally does produce a damn pineapple. But baby, if you had to grow the pineapple yourself, the type of patience you have to wait on that delicious, succulent, juicy fruit, like that is a patience that I love that farmers get to experience, that get to learn it. Like people that plant their own plants and produce and everything, they get to learn a different type of patience. On top of when you're raising children too. If you take in like really being a parent, that's another space where you truly get to learn patience. But say you don't want no kids, if you plant your own produce and stuff like that'll teach you a type of patience that is applicable to all aspects of your life, because each produce thing takes a couple months, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know which one's like the shortest, but even that's probably still some time of you just showing up watering. At most you get to see like something sprout every now and again. Like that that to me sounds depressing already. That sounds depressing already. But once it's done, you got either a nice bell pepper, a nice strawberry, a little potato, a little carrot, little collard greens. Like you got stuff to now nourish your soul because you waited that period of time for it to do so. And then that just goes into society altogether. Because when you think about it, everything's so fast paced, and we should be growing our own shit. That would teach us patience, right? We should be. But the fact that we could just go to the store and go get the pineapple, baby, we don't even know how long a damn pineapple take to be grown. Because we could just go to the store and get the pineapple. We could just go here and get this. Just go here and get that. Just turn on porn and watch the video. Just like, just turn on Chat GPT and get an idea. Like, everything's so fast paced that it's just like you feel like you gotta have the answers right now, or it's just all going to shit. And so there's so many different aspects of your life that literally forces you to slow down and submit to the process and not want to hurry it up. And like I think that's the beauty, or supposed to be the beauty of it, is that you should be more worried about the process and not the destination, because the process, or the journey rather, is so much more important than the destination sometimes. Although when you do get to the destination, do you get to enjoy it? Yeah, but you definitely should enjoy the journey there. Because sometimes the journey there is longer than even the moment that you get to experience. So it's, to me, it's cool that I get to sit here and figure out what topic and when I should do this and all this other stuff. Is it annoying? Because I don't want to do that part. I don't want to do the thinking part. It's annoying, but the fact that I get to figure out what sounds right for this episode, what doesn't sound right for this episode, what should I do this week versus not this week. Like it, all it is adding into the skill that I already have, and it's helping me to become an even more lit ass person because of the journey. Because it would be so easy just to have somebody to tell me, okay, do this and put it out, and I know it's gonna be great and all this other stuff. But it's even more amazing that I am learning all of this stuff. Even though my editing is like very basic and slim to none, when I was playing with the video and everything, like that was cool. Now, I ain't trying to be nobody editor. That I already know God didn't call me to be nobody editor. Now, the editors, I love y'all. And hit me up if you want to help me. But like I knew that wasn't my calling. But it was fun to like kind of play with it and see the things and add the words and make it do this and that, and like that's the cool part. Not necessarily the just the video, but just like sitting there playing with it. Okay, I like this color versus this color and all this other stuff. Does it make a cool product? Yeah, in the end. Or maybe you don't even like it in the end, but you enjoyed the fact that you just was playing with shit. Like the creative side of your brain came to life and all this other stuff. So I don't even know if I'm on track, y'all. I'm just sometimes I just be talking. I don't even know if I'm on track. I don't even know where I was headed, going around the corner, up and down, side to side. I know like when I watch it over, it's gonna all make sense. But yeah, y'all, like that was my spiel when it comes to it's like the podcast and the GRE and like my health journey and everything. But like the perfectionist side of me is like, I think it's that fear of failure part of you. Like, I genuinely think that you think about so many different things because you don't want to fail. When in reality, the only way to succeed is to fail so you know what not to do so that you can do the right thing. Because you're not going to always know what is the right thing, especially because you're trying to tend to so many different people that have so many different things that they like, don't like, and all this other stuff, that it's okay to fail. It's okay to not do it right the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time. Like, it's okay to do that because, like, it's all a part of the journey. And it makes it, again, a good journey to be on. But, like, that's just my own personal spiel. I did want to. It said, like, some causes of what could cause perfectionism is childhood experiences. So I would imagine that it's saying like children that go through trauma, abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction can lead to perfectionism. And then societal pressures can also cause somebody to be a perfectionist. It says perfectionism can be caused by pressure to meet unrealistic expectations on social media, which is kind of what I was talking about with the podcast. Like, everybody gravitates towards the celebrity stuff because they kind of got it together. They've already built the name and all this other stuff, and then also the topics in which some of these people talk about and things like that. Like, you almost want to copy it, but then you got to remember, like, they only got there because they were themselves. Well, I ain't gonna say all of them was themselves. All of them was not themselves, but they only got there because they were themselves, quote unquote. So it's like you don't want to fall, like, run the risk of losing who you are to try and keep up with the societal pressures of what's quote unquote popular, because we are very individually unique on purpose. Like, God put me here on purpose for me to be me, to put out here to everybody, for whomever that wants to latch on to me can do so. It wouldn't do me no good to try and fall in line with somebody else, because that's not what God put me here for, to be a no copycat. He didn't put me here to be no copycat. Because even when I do try to copy other people's stuff, I still add my own little flair to it, because that's just me. And you gotta always put your own little spin on things. So, like, I definitely can see that societal pressure one. And then it says also ADHD can lead to perfectionism, and it says it can be a way to overcompensate for past mistakes or feelings of inadequacy. It says it can be a coping mechanism. It says perfectionism can be a way to avoid negative outcomes or seek approval. And then impaired performance. Perfectionism can make it difficult to complete tasks and maintain relationships. And then, oh, I think this is saying the effects of what perfectionism can lead to. So, impaired performance is it can make it difficult to complete tasks and maintain relationships. Okay, yeah, that's what it's saying. The effects of perfectionism. And then the other one is mental health issues. Perfectionism can lead to anxiety, depression, and stress. Definitely depression. If again, like you start something, stop it, and you never pick it back up. Or it takes you forever to pick it back up. Like, you gonna just feel like, yo, what am I doing? Like, time keeps going, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And for me, that's what happened with this podcast. Is like time keeps going, and I could have been on 100 episodes. That's the crazy part. Could have been on 100 episodes had I not stopped. But because I stopped, like that pushed me back to where now I'm only halfway to that goal. And so it's just like it definitely can make you depressed if you're starting something, stopping because of all these things that keep coming to mind, and then you get paralyzed, and then you don't even start back. Like it's like the flight, fight, or freeze. You get stuck in the freeze and you just can't move, and like that will make you feel some type of way. I know it definitely made me feel some type of way, and but I'm the type of person where I don't want to stay feeling that type of way, especially not when I got the power to change that. So that's why y'all see me back on the screen or hear me in your on your speakers, is because I could not stay still. Like I was not gonna just let time continue to pass by. Like even if I have to stop and start this thing 1,000 times until I figure out how to remain consistent, like I will do that because this means that much to me. Growing this and seeing it become more, especially when you didn't even know this was a reality. Like who would have known that people talking would become so popular, especially when most people try not to talk anyways. And so now you could just sit and talk for an hour, 30 minutes, or however long you want to do an episode. And that can be popular, and that can help the next person to help the next person. Like that to me is amazing. And that means so much to me because, like I mentioned episodes ago, go look back at all of them so you can see which one. But like, I always get told I talk a lot. Who would have thought that me getting told I talk a lot could even become something that could be beneficial to those around me or those that come across me or listen to me? Like I never thought, because it was used as, I don't know if they was trying to insult me, but like to me it felt like an insult. Like if you tell me I talk too much, that's coming off as an insult. So who would have known that that insult would reframe itself as something to help others as well as myself, because I get helped every time I do an episode. Like I'm one of them ones that I'm going to watch my episode back and I'm gonna learn something, and I get to remind myself of things too that I'm not doing, that I said out my mouth and I know I should be doing but I'm not doing it. So like that is cool that an insult turned into purpose. And I'm pretty sure other things that I haven't even thought about turned into purpose too. Like I can't wait to figure out what that "you're so dramatic" turns into. Like how God's gonna use that. And he probably already used it. But like all of the things that were once put there to bring you down and to destroy your self esteem all work to be in the benefit of you to give you purpose and to use those things to uplift the next part about you. Like, me being dramatic is so necessary to uplift the people around me. Me talking too much is so necessary to uplift those around me. And it's just amazing. Even my vitiligo, to see how many people now like post on social media that have it. Now granted, I don't know if like me having vitiligo has helped anybody, like in regards to me being somebody to do content or podcasting or whatever, like if that helps somebody else to come out and do it. But like, even that was something that worried me when I was younger, having vitiligo, eczema, that things, like I didn't know that I would even be able to be comfortable enough to put out anything where all the masses can see it. And now when people comment it on it, I just delete that shit, or I respond very nicely, because take your hating ass energy somewhere else. Don't nobody got time for all that. Like you never know the uniqueness that God has bestowed upon you, how that can help somebody, the next person. Like, and that's a blessing in and of itself. All, like, again, all the things that once destroyed you now not only uplift you but help to uplift other people. That's crazy. I just want to continue to do that. And so the biggest thing that's going to help me with that is not letting me get in the way of me, because we are our own, what is it, competition. We are our own enemies, pretty much. Like, the side of us that has so many doubts and fears and, you know, problems and the negativity, Debbie, now she be fighting. She be fighting. But like, that's the biggest battle you will fight every day, is that side of you that constantly wants to tell you to stop, with a big red sign, to not continue to do what God has put you on this earth to do, because of how it made you feel in the past, or what it could have possibly led to in the past. Like, you got to battle that every day, and you're going to overcome that. You're going to beat that person that says that you're scared of those things. You're worried that somebody's going to judge you. You don't feel like somebody's going to accept you. Rejection has been the story of your life. Like, you're going to beat all of those things, and you're going to make people proud. And not just people, but yourself. Like, you're gonna make you and God proud, and that's all that matters, period. But let me see if there's anything else to talk about. Oh, how to overcome perfectionism, which I'm pretty sure I've talked about some of this stuff, but it's just like a little list to go with it. Is set realistic goals. So if you ever heard of SMART goals, that helps. I forgot what it's called. I mean, what the acronym stands for. I think it's like SMART. Nope, it's specific, manageable, achievable, time specific, and realistic. I'm lying. I don't know if those are the I don't know if that's the letters, but look up SMART goals. Those would be realistic goals that you can help to set for yourself. I just yelling out words. And then it says break tasks into smaller steps. Yes, y'all. Like, if you got to start out, if your goal is to be active, more active, and or to get that beach body or whatever the case may be, like, just start with one thing, and then once you got that up under your belt, add something else on. Like, I think my first thing that I started with was drinking more water. Now, am I gonna do a gallon a day? Mm-mm. That's given. Uh-uh. But I do drink way more water than I did previously. I very rarely have anything that's not water, like soda, juice, or anything like that. I very rarely have it. I gotta crave it for me to have it. Other than that, I'm always drinking water. So like that was like the first thing I started with. And then everything else is still a hit or miss. We're still hitting and missing, but break the stuff down into the smaller list like of things that you can do consistently. And even if that's like just taking a 10-minute walk. Now, granted, with the job I have now, I am active. On my little watch thing, that collects the steps. It's been a while since I've had less than 5,000 steps a day. And I know they said it's supposed to be 10, but hey, I'm going to take what I can get. But literally daily, I'm doing 5,000 steps or more. And so that's something else that not even that I intentionally did it, but that's something that slowly became a part of something that I do routinely. So, like, break it down into little steps and go from there. And as you start to become more consistent with the different steps, the little steps, like, add on to that. And then as you continue to add on, of course, you're going to start seeing more results in a shorter amount of time because now you're doing more things. So it's like, definitely break it up into smaller tasks. And then celebrate success. So I'm always going to celebrate me because that's what you're supposed to do. I think that I didn't realize that how important that was until I was doing coaching with this coach I came across last year. He was just like, "Oh, well, be intentional about celebrating, even if it's something little. Be intentional about it." And so now I'm intentional in like buying whatever buying whatever I want to buy. Like that makes me feel good. Sorry that shopping is my what is it, kryptonite? It's my kryptonite. So whenever I do something I was supposed to do, I go get me an outfit or two or three. So but yeah, it's like remember to celebrate your success. The small wins are the most important. Celebrate those because those small wins accumulate into a big ass win, and that's all you can ask for. So definitely celebrate the small stuff. Like even if it was you got out of bed today and you haven't gotten out of bed for the last week, just celebrate yourself. Go in that mirror and go like, "Hey, girl, you did it," or "Hey, dude, hey, what would you say? Hey, dude, hey, dude, you did it." Like, celebrate yourself because that's half the battle is doing it. The other half of the battle is doing it consistently. Like, celebrate the small wins because they're all essential and to get into the goal that you want to get to. T- like, literally, when I took that GRE, what did I go do? I probably went to go eat some. No, granted, that was a big win. That was a big win, so I definitely celebrated. But hey, you gotta celebrate all the wins, big, little, indifferent. And then it says embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Yes, I just talked about that. Like, y'all turn all those L's into lessons. Like, you gotta turn the L's into lessons because that's all they are. That's it. Like, you didn't really lose anything. You learned, okay, maybe I don't need to do this again. Or if I do it again, maybe not do it a third time. Like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on everybody. Like, yeah. So turn those lessons into opportunities of learning because we all are students and teachers. So remember to learn from everything that you do because it is going to be essential to do something different moving forward. And then avoid procrastination. So yeah, you should, but it depends on the type of person you are. I would say something that again my coach that I had from last year, he helped me to reframe it. So it's not that procrastination is technically a bad thing. It's like figuring out how to make the procrastination work for you, so to speak. So like I get things done immediately. So he was just like, okay, well, think of procrastination is any time that you don't do something as soon as you think about it, or whatever the case may be. Like that's how you get out of it, is because, and granted, it's not even that the thing is gonna be due like the next day or the day after that. It's just that it's gonna help you to stay on top of it if you reframe where the procrastination hits. So I know I'm gonna have to do it as soon as I remember it. I ain't gonna remember it. So if I think of it, okay, I would be procrastinating. If I don't do it as soon as I hear about it, then that helps me to move faster. But if you're somebody that knows that if something's due in a month, that you're gonna be able to plan efficiently and get it done in a month, then do it that way. But I know I'm not that person. And like when I go back to school, when I tell you I'm gonna be a whole different beast, like I'm not waiting until the last minute to do it, because the last minute is the minute after I thought about it. Like that's my last minute. So, being able to refrain how you see procrastination, that helps if you're anything like me. I don't know if that made sense. But yeah. And then focus on things that matter to you. That helps too. This podcast, this is the reason why it keeps going, is because it matters to me. Like I said before, even if it never grows to the the what is it, to the audience that some other people have, like this matters to me. Like I literally get joy from sitting and watching my episodes back. I don't know if everybody gets that, but I get joy from watching me back. Like to see the character I am on this podcast, or that I have been, is so funny to me. And then like because I did it, I get to go back and say the lines again and stuff, like when you're watching TV, how you know all the lines. Like I get to do that. Like that is so fire to me. So even if I never get my shit talkers and I never get to have an audience of people, like baby, the fact that I was an audience and I did with myself what I do with everybody else's content, like that is more than enough for me. Like so definitely focus on the things that matter to you, because that is the best way to know that you're never going to give up, regardless of all the things that come to mind that make you be like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, got to do this, got to do that, got to make sure it's this way, got to make sure it's that way. Like no, you don't. Just do it for you. And when you figure out how to make it more and do it in a way that doesn't impede the progress, do it then. But until then, like me and this camera, this is for me. I'm good just looking at me like this. But do I want to, again, add the angles? I want a studio, or just my own space where I could do this and not technically in my room, but like I want to have my own space for the podcast itself, like where you come into the room and it's specifically for the podcast. Like I want to do those things, but does me, Deja, need that right now? No. Me, Deja, having a good old time with this camera, this ring light, and this tablet, and this little microphone right here, and that thing that's on the phone. Like we're having a good old time. And so until I get to a space where I can make this more than what it is, then I genuinely don't care if it ever becomes more than this, because this is working for me. And I think that's also how you attract and stuff too, is when you're true to yourself, you attract the people that resonates with that, because everybody loves authentic. Well, let me not lie. Everybody don't love authenticity, but the people that love authenticity will gravitate towards it. And so, yeah, like y'all, that's really the gist of this episode. Like, and I hope that I was able to help somebody to stop overthinking. And I honestly need to stop overthinking my damn self, because outside of doing the podcast, I do really want to become a content creator. But I think for me, y'all, I don't want to be the editor. I don't want to be the come up with the idea person. Like, I don't want to be all of those things. Like, and as much as I tell myself, oh, you gotta have a good perspective about the journey and da 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 da, like, I don't want to do all those things. So that's getting in the way of me just turning on the camera and doing content. Is because, one, okay, what should I do? Because I don't be doing that. I don't be doing nothing. But now, have I been getting ideas here and there? Yeah, but I still haven't been turning on camera and doing it. But like, it's just like, what am I supposed to do? How do I not copy off of somebody? How am I not repetitive? So this is the next thing that I have to learn how to hop over. The next barrier that I gotta learn how to hop over is content creation. Because I wanna be able to showcase every part of Deja if I can. I wanna be able to showcase all parts of me because I should be shared to the world. There's no more hiding. I don't want to hide anymore. I'm still hiding a little bit because I don't promote, but I don't want to hide anymore. I want to showcase myself to the world. And so I want to be able to do that in a way that really rings true to me, that I don't have to put too much, because I'm a girl. I just, like I said, this is so basic. I love it. So I want my content to be just as basic as me. I'm not trying to cut to this video, to that video, to this video, like the editing. I don't got time for all that. I don't want to do all that. So now it's figuring out how to remain true to myself, do something that everybody's gonna like as well as myself. And I gotta start with what I'm gonna like first and go from there. But I'm gonna figure it out, y'all. I'm gonna figure it out. But that's the next battle. Is figuring that out. On top of the health thing. So those two things are on this side of my vision board. So I'm gonna figure it out. The health, the content creation. We're only in February. I got time. No, I don't got time. Let's not say I got time. That's how you become a procrastinator. I don't got time, but I got time. But yeah, y'all, like that's it. That's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I did. I feel like I talked about a lot. Y'all know I always feel like I go off topic. And I probably did, but didn't. Who knows? But it all comes together for a purpose, and that's all that matters. So I hope you were able to take something from this. Like, how does perfectionism show up in your life? Have you overcame it? Are you working to overcome it? Share with me in the comments. Send me an email, because that'd be cool. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing, but do the things. Y'all share with everybody. But yes, y'all, like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and continue to tap in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those streaming platforms, because I do believe I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place, and that's so cool too. Like, I'm all over the place. So check me out, y'all. And that is it for this week of perfectionism. I am not a perfectionist, so I'm working to get out of that mind space of like just thinking about everything at once and just doing. Like, just do it. Like Nike said. I think that's Nike. But yeah, y'all. But I'm going to end this episode right here. Tune in with me next Wednesday, where I talk about heaven only knows what, because who knows what I'm going to talk about, but it definitely will be in line with personal development and self growth. But until next time, this is Talk Your Shit with Deja, where we drop the I, because not only can I talk my shit, but I want you to talk your shit too. Y'all have a lovely rest of the day, night, evening, whenever you're watching this morning. And I will tune in with y'all next Wednesday at 7. Bye.